All
for
right, let's open this up. Okay, so to open up, I wanted to do a quick intro. I've got an intro question and we can intro ourselves. So I'm Sean here, and the question I'm going to introduce for everybody is what is your comfort level right now and why? And just for everybody, I'm Sean Tonko, and I'm one of the Curse of Comfort podcast people here. And my comfort level right now is, I'd say it's a 7.5, like 10 being uncomfortable because I feel like I rushed from one thing to another. But I'm also like excited to be hanging out with both of you. But like I generally have some time to breathe and prep between things, and I didn't feel like I got to do that. Like I didn't even really get feel like I need to use the bathroom, but I didn't really get to do that. So I'm like at 7.5. But uh Evan, let me kick it to you. Intro yourself and what's your comfort level at
yeah. So 10 being the most uncomfortable you mentioned.
for my scale?
Okay, for your
Oh,
scale.
okay.
All right. Okay, I got it. Okay. Um, I would say I am at like 500 out of 1,000. Just kind of right in the middle. Feeling pretty comfortable, feeling pretty good, but again, always wish I was a little more prepared, had a little more set up, had a little more time to prep, time to develop more questions and whatnot. But overall, feeling, pretty good, kind of neutral, kind of in the middle. Excited to talk, excited to get to know you better, Kathy. Always excited to see you, Sean, talk to you. So, but yeah, kind of the unknown. It's fun and scary and sometimes uncomfortable. So,
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. Let's go you, Kathy.
So my name's Kathy. It's me, Kathy Lee. So you mean my comfort level in this particular scenario of this podcast?
It can be however you want to take it. It could treat it as an icebreaker question, if you will.
Yeah. For the podcast, I would say I'm at a solid 5 because I'm being recorded. So that's always scary because I could say something really silly and that's immortalized. But what do I have to lose? People say silly things all the time. So it's okay. So 5.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So just a little thing on how we're going to do this today. Kathy, you are a guest. Thank you for joining us. Evan and I, and we have a buddy, Tomas, who is in Tahiti right now with his beautiful wife and enjoying himself. Tomas, we love you. We wish you were here. But we're doing this, me and Evan and Kathy. So a little bit for today, gonna do an origin story to talk about what Curse of Comfort is. Then I'm gonna kick it to you, Evan, to talk about Curse of Comfort to you. And then Kathy, we're gonna go to you, and then a lot of the spotlight's gonna be towards you. And then at the end, we'll kind of just navigate it, kind of see where we're at with this conversation, and then you can do some shout outs. How's that sound?
I like it.
Cool. So, origin story. Let's do dates. Okay, so this was Thanksgiving 2024, just last year. I was visiting you, Evan,
mhm.
and we were at your place in Bellingham, just right in the middle of the trip. And we're good friends, and I asked you, you were right down the hallway, like, dude, Evan, how are you in life? How's it going? And I remember, like, down the hall, you were like, dude, things are good, man. Like, bills are paid. It's not verbatim quoted, but this is just how I remember it. Bills are paid, things are good, but sometimes, there's things I want to do, and I just get home and I just kind of get stuck in this curse of comfort. And you told me that you said that everything was good, but then there was this like want for more. But the fact that you said curse of comfort, I remember that immediately clicked that like that sounded good. And for me, it immediately resonated that that was a term that one would be cool to like have for a clothing brand. But two, I think that led to like a really long conversation. I think it was 4 p.m. that day, and we stayed up until 2 a.m. after some drinks thinking about what this concept meant to us and how we could apply this thing of curse of comfort to just getting out of comfort zones figuring out how we could reach a higher potential. But it's been a long time since, and we've had weekly conversations about what this means. But um, yeah, that's the origin story. And yeah, Evan, what is that for you?
Yeah, I mean, to add to that a little bit, I mean, we were both pretty excited about the whole concept where I believe we actually ended up getting our domain already dialed in that night. I think we started talking about trademarking. I mean, since day one, we were kind of on this concept of cursive consort and how to move forward with it. For me, yeah, I mean, in that mindset, it still resonates with me just as much. It's life is good. Life is good enough, at least, and it's so many different facets. Like you mentioned, bills are paid. You know, we also own a home, feeling like we're doing pretty good overall. But there's always so much room for progression and to be better. But when you're in that comfortable state, you're just not as motivated or driven to get out there and kind of risk it, because there may be this fear of losing what you have, losing the comfort that you do have, but then also just not having the drive to feel like you need more, when everything, again, is just kind of good enough. And so I find myself in and out of that real comfort zone, being comfortable with weight, social media, just kind of getting those comfort zones and diving in, and just kind of forgetting some of these other goals and ambitions that I want to get after. And it's really, the comfort zones really just slow us all down. And so I'm really trying to drive to get out of those negative comfort zones, because there are some positive comfort zones. We always need to acknowledge that, but those negative comfort zones that kind of hold us back. And so I think for me, the goal is getting the message out and hopefully not just helping other people, but helping myself and helping people, you know, around me. So that's the ultimate goal. Curse of
Heck
comfort.
yeah. Heck yeah. And then Kathy, before I turn it to you, I just want to give everyone listening in a little bit of intro from my point of view. We've known each other for 10 years now. We met each other in
Right.
San Francisco. You were a product manager at the time, one of the coolest, perhaps still competing for one of the coolest I know. I came in as a UX
Bias.
researcher. Okay, yeah.
Bias.
So researchers deal with bias, so it's good. We can deal with that. But
Yeah.
I came in, and we were great coworkers. But the cool thing is, I think amongst us traveling and moving and going in different directions, which maybe we'll visit in this conversation, I'm glad that you and I have been able to reconnect and stay in touch. And I think when I think about concepts like this or metaphysical topics like this, you always pop up on the top of my head that you could have a good take on it. So like, you can opt out of this recruitment list, but you're number one on my recruitment list for things to talk about. So Kathy, I'm going to turn it to you. Feel free to introduce yourself any way you want to for people listening. But yeah, the question after that is, what is this? Where is this concept resonating for you right now?
Sure. Thank you so much. That it's so positive, and sometimes we don't see each other or see ourselves a certain way, and so it's really sweet to hear what other people see and have experienced from the other side. So thank you. I feel the same way. We had a lot of fun and continue to, even though we are states apart, that tether doesn't matter. It can run across oceans and time. So a little bit about me. I'm from Seattle, Washington originally, and went to school at University of Washington and got an electrical engineering degree because I like math. I like how science can be definitive. There are a lot of unanswered questions, sure, but 2 + 2 is typically 4 around the world, regardless of what language you speak. And my parents being immigrants, that was a strong suit in the house because they couldn't help me with my English papers. So that's what I excelled at, and that's what pushed me to engineering. And after that, I found myself in the tech world. First in databases and then being a product manager, and that's where we met. And that was a very colorful, animated part of my life, living in San Francisco, meeting so many people. But these people came and left really quickly because San Francisco is such a transient city. And so I left, and that was uncomfortable. That whole transition was uncomfortable. And we can talk about that more later. But now I run an art gallery featuring my father's artwork, and I'm having a blast. So I'm back here in Seattle and at home, which I do call home. I can't see myself moving, but that's a comfort thing. And that could change. The thought of that is uncomfortable. But who knows where life will take you, and your comfort zones change through life. So when you called me and asked me to be a part of this, and you said the word curse of comfort, it just made sense before you even had to explain it, because I knew what you meant. So for me, it means echoing what Evan said. It's just going through your routine because it works. Don't fix it if it's not broken. So that's what curse of comfort means to me. And you can just keep going in your hamster wheel. And if that works and that's cool and you're satisfied, that's okay. That's okay. But could it be better if you reached a little further, reached a little into some muck? Maybe you'll pull out some treasure.
Yeah, you're alluding to some stuff there, because hamster wheels and routines, like those can be good things. I mean, I think humans survive because they can do routines and they don't have to spend a lot of their brain energy thinking about what to do, because they have a routine on how to survive and whatnot.
Mhm.
But thank you. Sounded like, correct me if I'm wrong, you're alluding to, I think, the curse part of it, right? So like you're on your hamster wheel, but like for you, what does the curse part mean for Kathy Lee? It's you, Kathy Lee.
Thank you. It doesn't rhyme as well.
It doesn't.
That's okay. Not everyone is a poet.
It's
It's okay.
Kathy Lee. Yes.
The
Yes.
curse.
Oh,
Yeah.
what'd you say, Evan? Did you get one in there?
I said
I'll
it's
put-
the Kathy Lee. The Kathy Lee.
Oh,
The,
That's-
Yes, the Lee.
okay,
yeah.
that works.
Yeah.
Going back
Yeah.
to the rhyming thing.
That's
Yeah.
very
Now there's
poetic.
the poet. That's the poet.
Yeah.
There we
Yeah.
we got our poet. Okay.
Evan knows it. Evan knows. The curse is that you eat the same thing, you see the same people, and life is a feedback loop. So if you aren't introducing new things, new perspectives, new experiences, that might be kind of what do you call it, when people keep breeding with the same people?
Incest?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Incest is probably a comfortable setup for sure. Especially
Right?
nowadays.
The
You
money
can-
stays in the family, the genetics, you're like, oh, good genes, but that's not good for the genes. You need variety. You
that's-
need spice.
Yeah.
Variety is the spice of life. And so this is a really mundane example, but I get into this routine of eating the same things. And because maybe it's something that I cook often, I know how to cook it, or there are 3 restaurants that I just kind of rotate. And when my partner says, "Can I pick tonight?" And I go, "Sure, absolutely. What are you thinking?" He's like, "It's a surprise." Ooh, that's uncomfortable
Mm.
Oh,
because it's a control. It's no longer my control.
It's out of the routine. It's
It's
different.
out of the routine.
It's scary. Yeah.
Oh, scary. And I know it's going to be something good. And it's not a surprise like um something gross. It's going to be something we both enjoy. But something so mundane like that is fun because he'll pick something completely new to both of us. And maybe it's Mexican, but it's in a different part of town. And you see different things and you see different people, and it's a new restaurant. And then that becomes a favorite. You never would have discovered that or driven over there and gone on a walk after dinner and saw the lake that you walk on all the time from the other side if you didn't do that.
yeah. Is it okay? So when you said it was scary when he says like it's a surprise,
Yeah.
is it like scary excitement or is it like yeah?
It is, what if I don't like it?
Okay.
What if it's Mexican, but it's not good Mexican? Or what if it's in a part of town that's scary? Or
Yeah.
how far is it? Because I have laundry to do when we get home. It's relinquishing that control of, okay, I'm going on a journey and I don't know where we're going. And it's the mystery that scary might not be the right word. It's just letting go of that control is uncomfortable.
You and Evan, you feel free to come in after me, but on that topic, it's just something relatable because today Roman, my partner, is her birthday month, and we decided she celebrates the whole birthday. So
Yeah.
we went out on July 1st, and we only had like an hour to eat. And
Okay.
I was like, okay, pick your restaurant.
Mhm.
And she spent like 20 minutes trying to pick. Roman, sorry, I'm putting you on your blast, but you know, but I think it was similar. Like she was trying to pick that perfect restaurant, and I think it was because of the fear of it not being the birthday meal that she wanted for her first month, like that comfortable, celebratory first meal. And I'm not sure how this plays in, but like I tried to reframe and be like, hey, it's about the celebration, not about the food. But it was the food for her. I was trying to make that for me.
Mhm.
But I think when you're talking like when it comes to food, that's one of the things that like you try to control, especially on your birthday. You want to make it perfect, right? But then,
Right.
yeah, what are you omitting? Yeah.
It's also this fear of disappointment. And as I've gotten older, I realized, so what if I have one meal that is not the best? That's a first world problem, to have a meal and be full and it'd be like, that was a little overcooked, right?
Totally.
And what do you have to lose? Maybe you spent $20 on an entree and you didn't love it, but you tried something new, and okay, maybe we won't go back there. Maybe I ordered the wrong thing. Not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
When
I
you
think it's very
boil it all down.
I think it's interesting, and I think it's good to talk about these things because somebody's comfort levels are going to vary on different things. So I think with me, I usually am the person trying to choose different restaurants and doing my best to try something new on the menu or trying something that I, typically haven't liked in the past just because our taste buds change over time. And so kind of constantly exploring that, I find that more like exciting and whatnot. But my partner is definitely a little more structured. She knows what she likes. She usually gets the same things from the, same restaurants, and, she knows what she likes. And getting out of that zone can be uncomfortable because, like you're saying, that fear of disappointment really does resonated with me. And for me, I can relate to that because there are times where I'm trying to pick a restaurant and I'm just really worried that the person that I'm bringing isn't going to like something there. I'm not necessarily worried about myself, but I'm worried that they're not going to like it. And over the years, I've definitely realized I'm kind of a people pleaser. So I've kind of tried to get out of that zone as well. And that's been very uncomfortable because it's just, my MO is, as long as everyone else around me has been pretty happy, yeah, then it's okay.
Disappointing people.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, what was that? Oh my gosh. Okay, because some people won't be seeing the video, but can you talk out what you just held up?
I apologize for cutting across you, Evan, but
No, please. I love it.
you said something that's on my Curse of Comfort map. So I drew a map. In the middle, it says comfort. And I didn't spend a lot of time. I just thought of what comes to mind. So
At least
comfort's in the middle.
This isn't a masterpiece. This is
You're hired.
Yes, yes.
folks. This is high quality. This has got layers to it. Yeah. I know you
It
can't
is
see this, but
the Kathy Lee.
yeah.
The outer circle that's outside of comfort says new friends, going to the gym, and what's it say? New hobbies. The next level out is giving up control. And in that realm, in that layer, is disappointing people. The one that's most outside is skydiving.
Ooh.
Oh,
So fun. I'm not going to tell you my story, but it is a lot of fun.
it is fun.
Maybe this will bump down,
Do it.
It used to be probably way out here in the map, off the page, but it's slowly seeping down into more.
Okay, I gotta. This could
I
easily
love
turn
that,
into
by the way.
skydiving fest. But the through line, Evan, you said disappointing people. That resonated with you, Kathy. Kathy, can you expand on that? Like, where does Curse of Comfort fit into disappointing people? Like, example or like a story?
Gosh. So much to unpack there.
Oh.
I don't know where to start. People pleaser is what I would have called myself maybe 2 years ago. It is an aspect of me. And I've been trying to practice saying no, or now is not a good time. That's really uncomfortable for me because I'm so empathetic and I don't want people to feel bad. I don't want them to think that I'm negative. And it's a lot of my culture. My parents are both Vietnamese. I'm a female Vietnamese American, and you're raised to be polite and say yes and accept things that are given to you and be kind and demure. And I was called a tomboy a lot as a kid because I wasn't always those things. But it's part of my culture. It's part of how I was raised. And so that's really comfortable to me to be a people pleaser. It is uncomfortable to disappoint people. And even now, as I practice saying no, I check if that's okay with them.
How does that look? Yeah, what do you mean? What is that?
Oh, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
No,
absolutely. Yeah.
Talk
Like,
about
hey, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it tomorrow. Like, is that gonna be all right? Because I might be able to switch some things around if it's really gonna be an issue. And I just, a lot of that's resonating. I have found when I really try to experiment, when I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just put my foot down, but I'm gonna try to do it in a kind way. I'd say 99% of the time it's welcomed. It's, it's taken really well. All this is just in my own mind. And, it's that people pleaser mentality. And so for a while I was doing this, I tried to like create my own mantra, and it was, please people, but don't be a people pleaser. And so still be kind to people, still, don't don't be a jerk to anybody, but you got to think about yourself first, because just like on the airplane, you got to put the oxygen mask on yourself before you can start helping other people put the oxygen mask. So it's kind of important to get that self-love and really that understanding of your own personal needs, and you're going to be able to help and be a better person for all the people that you're afraid of disappointing by being a better person to yourself. And it's easy to say, but it's a lot harder to really like break those old habits.
Evan, we're all in our 30s. I'm just curious, when did you come up with that mantra for yourself? Like,
that was probably 5 years ago or so. It's just
mm,
something that, I don't know, it was fun to say, it made sense, and it just resonated with me. And so, I was just trying to keep that in mind as I'm worried about disappointing somebody, whether it's not making it to an event or, potentially having to tell a customer that we aren't going to meet a deadline, and kind of breaking in any sort of bad news.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I do it, it's not that it gets easier. It's just I have more data telling me like most people are pretty understanding. There's a lot of good people that really, as long as you approach it with kindness, most of the time it's fine. There's just it's a mental block.
Dude, that's cool. Go ahead, Kathy.
Can I go? Okay. Evan, do you feel selfish when you practice this?
At times, absolutely. If I if I take some time for myself, there's either selfish or like guilt. It's either I feel selfish because I'm not gracing somebody with my presence or my my being. Just obviously joking a little bit there, but more disappointment, like, oh, I'm letting them down, and it's more just self-inflicted. But yeah, I can totally see the selfish portion of that as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yourself, like how does, if you're in a situation, and let's say you're invited to do a podcast for someone else and you're not able to make it for that, like how would you approach that, and how would that make you feel? Like, what in the last 2 years, what are some things that have helped you kind of help get out of that people pleaser mentality?
I have a mantra, and it's, Kathy, what do you want?
Mm.
And it feels so selfish.
Oh.
It felt worse than it does now. And I have to balance it, because I can't always be, what does Kathy want? What does Kathy want? Because then it's out of balance.
Mm-hmm.
It should feel collaborative. So if someone asks me, back to food, what do you want to eat? Before I would have said, well, what do you want to eat? And now I have to ask myself, what do I want?
Dang.
Whether that be food or an event, or like your example, if someone asked me to do a podcast, do I want to do that? Or do I feel obligated to do
that? Kathy, when did you come up with your mantra? Evan, you said 5 years for yours. This is just interesting that you both had this mantra.
Probably in the last 2 to 3 years.
Gotcha. Barely, okay.
And I'm 30. I'll be 36 in a month.
Holy snap! That's old.
That's getting good.
That's 3 cycles of the zodiac.
Oh my god, I'm only turning 37 this year. You're out there, my friend. But it's interesting because we're both 38, Evan. Okay, yeah, 38. Thank you for
wow. Stepping stones.
Y'all both have mantras within the last 5 years, and I just want to say respect to both of you, because it's like you're trying to look out for yourself, but still, like Evan, like yours you're still trying to like be pleasant. Like you still want to, don't be a people pleaser, but still be, I know it wasn't pleasant, but like you're still thinking about the other person. Like you still want to be nice. Like you still want to approach people with kindness. So I can imagine for both y'all, like it's still a very fine line to tread. you know, like that line between pleasing someone, but then trying to figure out what pleasing yourself looks like. If you, I don't know if those are the right words, but I don't
Yeah,
know. It
I
sounds
mean,
difficult.
sometimes for me, the more satisfaction comes from knowing that somebody else is having a good time or somebody else is pleased. So, yeah, when you said, you know, going back to food again, hey, what would you like to eat? In my mind, it's like almost immediately I think, okay, what would they like to eat? And I'll just pick somewhere that I know they would like something.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get out of that habit, and I've successfully. So I'm trying to find the balance, but yeah, it's just almost automatic. And so I feel like, and I still feel like that's maybe almost the kind approach, but really I ultimately I don't believe that. I do think it's important that we express our wants and needs to the people around us as well, because otherwise we'll never be fulfilled, and that'll lead to potential resentment or things like that without even really being aware of it. That can grow and harvest. So yeah.
I want to do one more question for Kathy. Big question. Kathy, I have two questions for you that with your intro story, and you could pick your fate here.
Okay.
You alluded to the transition in San Francisco, that being a big transition full of discomfort, if that's right. That was something you had mentioned.
Mhm.
And then you also had mentioned moving, like the idea of moving currently would be very uncomfortable.
Mm,
Um,
mm, mhm.
would you mind talking about either of those two?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can talk about both if you want.
yeah, whichever one you want to start. Yeah, up to you.
Yeah,
I guess you should, wow, you put yeah. Who do you want to do, Kathy?
let's take both of them.
Nice.
I want to talk
'Cause
about
neither will
both.
please me, and neither will please me. So I'll just break it. Like I'm.
Okay, you're in. You're like whatever. I don't need either.
I don't
Okay,
even know why I asked this question.
I know.
we'll talk about the first one, uh, San Francisco and leaving tech. That was leaving an entire industry that I had devoted 9 years of my life to, almost a decade. And if you add the schooling onto that, 4 years and a science degree, I felt like I was betraying myself, like I had failed. I didn't know at the time that I was leaving it for forever. Forever is not even here yet. Who knows? Uh, they say you have 3 careers in a lifetime. But I was scared to leave the comfort of tech. I worked 9 to 5, could work from home if I wanted to, had a 401k, making a healthy salary. Um, it's very comfortable, but the passion had died. The flame was just smoke. And my soul was dying.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. So well, you remember when Demand Force was owned by Intuit, it was this animated, colorful world. And when the acquisition happened, quite literally, the color had been sucked away. And I mean, posters on the wall were gone. And so there was color leaving, literally leaving the office.
Wow.
And then people were mass exiting. And I told myself I would stay until I was no longer learning. And when my mentor left, I took lead of what he had been taking care of. And I just felt like I was on a sinking ship. And I no longer had anyone to look up to learn from. And I had stayed for a couple months to just take over everything that was left behind. And that was empowering, but empowering for my mind, not for my heart.
Mm.
And as everyone was leaving, coworkers and friends, the soul was getting sucked out of the office. So I could have found another tech job. This is 2017. And I had called my dad, and he said he had an art gallery in Ketchikan, Alaska at the time. And he said, why don't you just come and hang out in Ketchikan for a summer? You can work if you want. Just take a break from that world, with no intention of pulling me into it. It was just an invitation to get away. So that is not so uncomfortable because it feels temporary. So I went, and I had a blast. I wasn't sitting in an office. I was talking to people every day from all over the world about my dad's art. And it gave me an appreciation for what he does. And I wasn't sitting in front of a computer all day. And, for some people they like doing that. And that's fine. No judgment there. And I did it for years, and I enjoyed it until I didn't. But when that summer ended, that was the real crossroads of, do I find another tech job and stay in San Francisco, or do I leave this? And I chose to leave it. I chose to leave San Francisco and leave the tech industry, because I always had in the back of my mind that I can always go back. And I had that comfort of knowing I could go back. At this point in time, fast forward 8 years, I actually don't have that comfort anymore. I think tech has evolved so much. And with AI in the picture, I actually don't think, and maybe I'm really out of touch with that industry, but I don't think I could comfortably excel in it. I don't think I'm competitive in that way anymore, and that's okay. But that was really scary, leaving that world, because I had devoted so much to it. But I found comfort in being in a family business. So there was this transfer to be
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Evan, I'm sure your ears are perking up, because there's a lot of oscillation between comfort zones and uncomfortable zones to kind of help make decisions on what to do. But yeah, and I'm not sure if you want to say something before I ask Kathy to do it, the second question.
Well,
but
yeah, can I ask, when did the idea for this store in Seattle to start, and how was that process? Because that has to be kind of a scary process to start that.
That Ketchikan gallery, it was called Alaska Fine Art, was running up until 2019. And then the pandemic happened and travel shut down. So we usually open that gallery in April for the tourist season through October. But that was completely shut down by the pandemic. And the cruise ship industry stopped. 1 million people are dropped off, and 1.2 million people are dropped off in Ketchikan in one season. So the store was closed for 2 years, 2020, just one season, 2020. And we lost that momentum. I say we, my dad and I, Eddie, lost that momentum to go back up to Ketchikan. And it was really the stars aligning, because the space that I'm sitting in right now, the lease became available. And we thought, what if we just open here? We both live here. The art is carved here. And that just made sense. So that was just a serendipitous, honestly. We stumbled upon the previous tenants here leaving, and opened it here and decided to shut down Ketchikan.
Kind of reminds me of something Sean always says, pronoia. It's, these things kind of happen for a reason. And it sounds like it worked out actually in y'all's favor. I don't know, there's probably a special place in Ketchikan that will always stay in your heart and whatnot, just because of the memories and everything. And I don't know if y'all visit, but it sounds like a much better situation. And I think Seattle is such a perfect spot for your store.
Yeah, I have no regrets of opening here.
Awesome.
Nothing is perfect. There's a lot of crime here, and that is uncomfortable because the alarm will go off in the middle of the night, and you might have a broken window, you might not, and that's a whole other beast. But I do enjoy being in Seattle, where my roots are, full time.
Yeah. So I think there could be lots of stories, and Kathy, we will invite you back on in the future, but here's a couple ways we could go. You could share the story of, or not the story, the feeling of moving, or we could do a little wrap up question. Your choice, Kathy.
I think I can be succinct with that second question, and we can do that next one.
Go for it.
Okay. When I came back here from San Francisco, I just felt like I was home. I don't need maps. I just drive wherever I want. If there's traffic, I hop on another street. It's familiar. It's comfortable. My two best friends are here from when I was 11, and a couple new friends that I've made. And I don't have that many friends, and that's fine with me. My friend mountain is very slim. I have a couple close friends up at the top, and then I have some acquaintances in the middle. And that's lovely. I know where all the good food is. I know where all the hikes are and the beaches are. And it's comfortable. Moving somewhere else feels so uncomfortable because it's a big mystery, just like the new food spot. But I am open to the fact that a new place could be amazing. I realize that. So I would never say I would never move, but it does cause discomfort.
What makes you feel like you're open to that idea still? Like, what is there past experiences that still make you feel wondrous about possibilities of what's out there? Like, or is that just your nature? Like, versus just like staying like I'm cool with my friend mountain here and my
Yeah. The things about friends is they come and go, and my best friend Hannah, who I'm talking about, she lived in Oxford for a while in the UK, and we still stayed in touch. It's not the same as now where we can have lunch every week or every other week, but we still stayed in contact. And you live on an island in a different time zone, and we can stay connected. So with technology, we can stay connected. That's okay. The world is so big and beautiful. I think it has so much to offer, and I realize that. And experiencing that new air, that different ocean or lake is beautiful, and I do see that. So I can get over the fact that moving is awful and a lot of effort and a lot of money, and you have to make new friends. But maybe I'd make my friend Mountain would look very different in a different place.
I love that. And before I give us our reflection question, anything to follow up on that one with?
I assume you're talking to me.
Yeah, sorry, Evan.
Oh yeah,
Just
cool.
want any
I
comments
was
on
like
that
100%
before
sure on that. Yeah, just curious. Yeah, didn't want to assume. Yeah, I mean, I've always found I moved a lot as a kid, and so it's not quite as relatable to me. I find moving kind of fun and exciting. I'm excited to find the new food spot. I'm excited to find the new trails. When I was younger, I used to take my bike around new areas, new towns, just kind of exploring, kind of getting used to the area. There's that sense of wonder and adventure. I also like trails, hiking. So a new area means new trails typically, or new landscape, new terrain. I grew up in California, and so coming to Washington was scary. So I definitely get the fear of the unknown, but it was also exciting, and I would love to pick your brain on some hikes, maybe in the Rainier area, because we haven't really explored that area. So that'd be cool, and maybe grow that friend mountain a little bit as well. So
On the mountain.
on the mountain, that's right. That's right.
Oh, nice. Mountains on mountains. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry. Are you done?
No,
My bad.
yeah, good.
Okay. So this is a question for all of us. I'll start. Actually, it's two questions. You can combine the questions. You can pick one. You can throw them both out and just do your own thing. But we love prompts, especially in the age of ChatGPT and all that good stuff. Anyways, okay. We've had this conversation. We've exchanged ideas. Where do you think you'll go from here? Mentally, emotionally, creatively? Basically, how did this conversation impact you? So for me, Kathy Lee, that's this is Sean Tongo, not Kathy. For me, Kathy, you said something that made my ears perk, which you said, um, I think this was when you were talking about moving, but you said, quote, didn't feel so uncomfortable because it was temporary, end quote. That is gonna be a cool little heuristic or something that I'm gonna keep in my mind. Like, for example, I do cold plunges, and sometimes when I hit that ice water for a little bit, like I lose my breath. And I've done it many times, but like I think I'll use that as another tool. Be like, this cold water, this feeling, it is temporary. And I think knowing that it's temporary, it's not going to be permanent. Like it will bring me to kind of I don't know, like that middle space between a comfort zone and an uncomfort zone. Like it's a comfortable thought because it's not going to last forever. So it helps me manage the discomfort. So thank you for those words in your story, Kathy. That's
You're welcome.
that's it for me. That's it for me. And
I took a lot. I mean, you said a lot of really great things, Kathy. I really appreciate it. Have life is a feedback loop. I love that. Just that whole, as you're taking information in, you're able to constantly make adjustments. I think that was really cool. I hadn't heard that before, at least the, fear of disappointment. There's so many things that I feel like resonated with me. So I definitely just appreciate everything you've said. And I think, it's just nice knowing that my feelings aren't just my own. Like there's a lot of people out here, and we all share these common fears, these common discomforts, also are these common comforts. And so just kind of understanding that and processing that more, and the more people we talk to, such as yourself, Kathy, just the more comfortable I'm feeling getting uncomfortable, just because I know I'm not the only one in that position. I know I'm not alone doing it. Even if nobody's directly around me, I know that I'm not alone in doing those things. And so this conversation has definitely helped just kind of plot that in my mind as well. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. This is inspiring because I think the term curse of comfort is going to be on my mind. And when someone asks me to do something new or unusual or new place, I'll probably just say yes. Because what do we have to lose? You know, I always check a couple things. Am I emotionally safe? Am I physically safe? Comfortable, safe. Safe and comfortable go hand in hand, right? And typically those things, the answer is yes. And if I go paddleboarding and I fall, I have a life jacket on. I'm not gonna drown. Am I good at it? No. But does it intrigue me? Yes. So should I try it? Yes. Yeah. So right before you had asked me about this, and I had mentioned this on our phone call, I had met a woman here at the gallery, and she had just moved here. She gave me her number and she said, use it. And I meet hundreds of people here in a week. And we have a good time and they leave and they might come back and say hi. And that's lovely. But it's rare for someone to reach out and make a connection like that. And I said, yeah, why not? And that may be a budding friendship, but you'll never know unless you say yes and see where it takes you.
I love that. Yeah,
Go the
absolutely.
mountain. Gonna go the mountain. And I love that she said, use it. I'm gonna borrow that.
Yeah, yeah,
You-
interesting.
that. Okay, Kathy. Before we wrap up and say goodbyes or a hui hos or until we talk again, do you want to do any shout outs? You got to do some shout outs. I'm sure there's some cool things where you want to shout out anything that you'd like.
Well, I'd like to thank you for having me here. It's an honor that I'm on the list when you think about things like this, because that's fun. And I hope that people are inspired by this podcast. If you are in the Seattle area, please visit Fossil and Stone. We're located 1 block away from Pike Place Market. It's right, I'm pointing at it. It's 204 Pine Street, and we're quite an unusual art gallery because we're tactile. So there are natural materials surrounding me right now, like fossils, stones, horns, and antlers. And it is uncomfortable for people to be in here and touching because their whole life they are taught, they are conditioned not to touch in a place like this, which is respectful, and I understand that. But we do it in a very safe way for the artwork. And it's funny how unnatural it is for people. And every day, actually, I'm getting people out of their comfort zone.
Yes.
And they love it. They will say, I've never been to a place like this. I've never touched a woolly mammoth molar. I've never touched fossilized whalebone. I didn't know it was so porous. So if you want to enjoy some art, if you want to get out of your comfort zone, come visit me.
Oh, nice.
Love it.
Oh,
Love it.
oh my God.
Yeah.
What a,
Again, you're hired.
yeah. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for being
You're
on the
welcome.
podcast. Where we'll have you back if you'll have us. Thank you so
Indeed.
much.
Happy to be here.
Kathy, it was
All
our
right.
pleasure. Honestly, thank you.